I'm Julian Assange.
Roger, I'll get you into straight.
Editor of WikiLeaks. We've exposed the world's secrets.
These documents belong to the United States government.
Been attacked by the powerful.
The United States strongly condemned.
Hey, quit asking questions.
He broke the law.
Illegally shoot the son of a...
For 500 days now, I've been detained without charge. But that hasn't stopped us.
Mike check.
Today, we're on a quest for revolutionary ideas that can change the world tomorrow. Today, I am joined by an intellectual superstar, the Slovenian philosopher Slavoj Zizek, a former anti-communist dissident, now turned self-described communist. Together we call David Horowitz, a former left-wing radical and Black Panther ally, now a fiery right-wing Zionist. I want to know what they think about the future of Europe and the United States. The conversation becomes heated. Zizek has to be physically restrained. We shout, rant, and talk calmly about Nazis and Palestinians, Black Panthers and Israelis, about Obama, Romney, and Stalin. David, you describe yourself as a conservative, and Slavoj, you describe yourself as a communist. But nonetheless, both of you have had a picture of Stalin.
Stalin calling. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. Stalin calling.
I'm in the middle of the show. I'm in the middle of the show. It's going to be about an hour. Yeah, bye. I can't talk to you. This is an international show. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
David, can you tell me, what do you mean by conservative, and why do you have a picture of Stalin?
Well, the picture of Stalin that was on my office wall was his death. And I'm a conservative because the leftists, utopians, have no idea of what human nature is. And therefore, when they get the power, they're faced with a big problem, which is that people don't go along with their program. And so they kill them and put them in gulags. And the problem with the utopian idea is the idea.
Slavoj?
Okay. First, why Stalin? Precisely to remind me, and here maybe we at some marginal level even agree, precisely to remind me of the risks, dangers of radical political experiments and so on.
I don't know what to make of what Slavoj is saying when he says that Stalin is there to remind him of the dangers of totalitarian, of the totalitarian strain in the left, or of the dangers of that utopian ideas can lead to, because he supports all the totalitarian movements in the world that I can see. You're a supporter of the closest thing we have to Nazism, which was a utopian idea, in the Middle East. You support the Palestinians. I don't see anything to distinguish the Palestinians who want to kill the Jews from the Nazis.
Listen, did you ever visit the West Bank? It's totally safe for Jews. What I'm saying is that I went there with my Jewish friends. It's safe, and I can tell you what I'm not saying, I must emphasize this, I find tasteless these ideas, what Nazis were doing to the Jews are now doing to Palestinians. I agree, this is tasteless. But sorry, Palestinians are there screwed up. Pretty strongly.
They're screwed by Hamas. They're screwed by the PLO.
No, here I disagree.
By Saudi Arabia.
Here I disagree with the way Israelis humiliated Arafat and so on. Israeli policy opened up the space for Hamas influence there. Yeah. Second thing.
We're going to blame the Jews for Hamas. Great.
Oh my God, you see, this is what I don't like about you. My God, whatever I say, I blame the Jews. You know why No, seriously, just one thing. Look at the situation of women now in Iraq. Horrible as this sounds, it's worse than under...
Who's responsible for this?
United States with their F3 points intervention.
The international left and the Democratic Party in the United States that went to war for Saddam and against George Bush when he went into Iraq. We should have settled their hash. We should not have, we should have occupied them for several years.
David, I mean, this is
man,
an
have a democracy
incredible
overnight.
statement, though.
We should have stuck it to Syria, and then we should have stuck it to Iran. But Bush came under such attack from the Democrat. There's never been such a seditious movement by a major American party. They all supported the war, not all of them, but the leadership supported the war. They voted in their majority in the Senate for the war, and then they turned against it, and they lied, saying that Bush lied. Bush couldn't have lied about the intelligence because Kerry and Rockefeller and Feinstein, all the Democrats sat on the intelligence committees. They had better intelligence than Julian.
In the work that we do, the work that WikiLeaks does, we are pushing forwards the boundaries of a certain type of liberty that is, we say, protected by the First Amendment. That is the liberty to reveal the truth about the world, to protect the historical record from interference, and so on. I saw this incredible poster that the US Army produced, which is a poster of Jefferson, with a big statue of Jefferson saying, the cost of liberty is eternal vigilance. That is the price of liberty. And it had giant interception systems, people with guns, and the Coast Guard, and people looking out over the sea with spyglasses. They had interpreted Jefferson's statement, which was that to stop a strong state, we must be eternally vigilant, into we must have a strong state, an aggressive state, a surveillance state in order to keep liberty.
I think it's regrettable that the state is so big, that our defense has to be so big. It's absolutely regrettable, but it's a reality. And you know, I'd like to go back to your thing about liberty and equality. Of course, if people are unequal, if people have unequal talents, unequal intelligence, then the only way to make them equal is to take away liberty. That's the only way you can do it. There's no other way. So, of course, there's an inherent conflict between liberty and equality.
I'm not an idealist here, in contrast to what you think. I am not for total freedom, everything should be made public. But I think these WikiLeaks are not doing this. All I'm saying is when the way great power structure, a certain level of hypocrisy is reached, then selectively, when simply, how to put it, of course, we are always called to trust the state power, in the sense of, sorry, we have to do certain things discreetly, better that you don't know about it. And I agree, we have to play this game. I'm not a stupid, but when, obviously, this trust is misused, things like WikiLeaks can play a very positive role. Sorry, I don't see any danger of collapse.
If the revolution, if we had a new revolutionary government, and WikiLeaks managed to get hold of the internal discussions of that government, and we were going to publish it,
I will answer your question.
Would I be against the wall?
With me, I cannot resist a joke here. You know what? It's too difficult for me to answer this question now. When I will be part of this revolutionary government, I will send you my answer to your gulag cell in Siberia.
Quite possibly.
The idea is it's got to be ordered liberty. It can't be.
But every liberty is ordered in some sense.
David, on the front of Guantanamo Bay, the slogan there is honor bound to defend freedom. In Iraq, there is a prison camp liberty. These, to me, seem to be abuses of the word freedom. And I want to know from you, do you really think this tremendous state that is growing up in the United States, is that entirely necessary to combat the rivalrous competition that the United States has from China, from Europe, or is this now a self-feeding system?
It's, you know, there's people are the problem. People are the problem. They're greedy. They lie. They're deceitful. They manipulate. They're egocentric. We understand that. And people in government are just the same dangerous people with more power. So that's why we have the checks and balances. And I'm all for, more scrutiny and this and that. However, we live in a context. The United States and Israel are under attack from the international left, which is very powerful, from all these dictators in South America that Slavoj seems to get along with, from the Islamo-fascists. And we live in an age when they have nuclear weapons and chemical and biological. I think there's going to be a catastrophe that will dwarf everything that happened in the 20th century in the 21st because of this.
Don't you see the creation of an enormous secretive bureaucracy doing each other favors, involved in rotating door contracts, etc.?
Yeah.
Don't you see that perhaps can be similar to what occurred in the Soviet Union, and we need a strong Soviet Union?
If we eliminate the competition. But the fact of it, look, you got a leftist in the White House, a guy who was brought up and trained by communists, whose whole political career was in the communist left. You have the competition, you can't have what you think of this monolith and the secret that controls everything. You have, if you prefer, think of it as many mafias, and they're all at each other's throats, and that's what keeps us somewhat safe.
Very briefly, first let me state something without any anti-Americanism.
The problem is countries like Russia, where you can shut down the opposition.
Yeah. I know Russia, you mean Putin. I know whom you mean. Russia, Putin. Isn't this the guy whom, when he met Bush said, you remember, I looked into Putin's eyes and I knew I can trust that guy. But this is just a footnote. What I'm saying is that, look.
That was one of the stupider things that Bush said. So
yeah,
I thought it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, let me go on. So, listen, I'm unfortunately... First, I must say, you use communist, that communists like to blur the true opposition to them, democracy. You must know this. Communists like to call everyone who opposes them fascist. If you did a modest democratic, fascist counter-revolution. What I'm afraid is that you use the word communist in a slightly similar way. Whoever is a little bit of critical or American conservative establishment, he's a communist. Then, of course, Obama is a communist. They are all communists.
You're not referring to Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Because
in what meaningful sense of the world he is a communist?
Then you have no idea of Barack Obama's background, who he actually is, if you say that. Because this is not just about mild criticism.
I don't care about backgrounds. Stalin's background was a religious poet who wrote poems. I have some of them, as we both know. Let me go briefly on. But don't you think that nonetheless, I think, and this is a tragedy, it's not even a good, it's not even a good thing, but don't you think that nonetheless, for me, the great failure of Bush presidency was that with his I wouldn't use the word aggressive, sometimes you need it, non-intelligent politics, that the result of his decade was that the United States effectively came close to losing the position of universal world power. Under Bush, United States, lost effectively control over Latin America and so on and so on. And I think, and this is not, I don't say it with some leftist glee, finally we got the United States, but I think we are entering, I even tend to agree with you, a very dangerous multi-centered world. All these dreams that America will somehow regain control are, for me, over. And again, I'm not saying this with any, you know what I mean, of this
very dangerous. No,
yeah,
I agree.
it is a dangerous world, I agree.
The
Point two, Europe is not so bad. Listen, let's face it, and for this, many leftists will accuse me of Eurocentrism or whatever. European welfare state dream, more than, if you permit me this European love, more than, I think, even United States dream. Wasn't this maybe the unique period in human history after World War II, the welfare state, where so many people live in such safety, freedom, and so on, don't make too much fun of Europe. It was a great thing as far as it lasted.
Oh, and it was a disastrous period. Europe is a cultural theme park. It's insignificant. That's what happened. That's what your welfare state did. It just took Europe out of the picture.
I have had personal experience with the socialist dream paradise of Sweden, and I can tell you it is nothing like the advertising.
But it wasn't 20, 30 years ago. I still insist on this. Something has broken there.
Yeah, the Swedes have no morals.
David, the striving towards utopia, the striving towards a better position, even if that position is liberty, it is more liberty. That is a striving, a direction that people wish to have, that they can measure contemporary events by the direction of their hopes and ideals. Have we now abandoned that to religion? Because religion is there waiting in the gap to seize utopian visions.
People can't live with the sense, most people can't live with the sense that their lives are meaningless, that they're just, born and die and are forgotten. So if you're a religious person, then there's a divinity who's going to sort it out in the afterlife, their redemption in the next life. If you're not religious, you want a redemption in this life. That's what the left is about. It is a religious movement, and it's not an accident that all these utopianisms, whether it's communism or fascism or Nazism.
Or liberalism.
Or what?
Or liberalism. It's also utopia.
People have to want to make things better. It may take a lot of ambition to make a modest change. So, I'm trying to think of one that would fit what you want to do. What you want to do, what you do is a radical means that can have very destructive consequences.
But there are moments when you have to be, look, when you have Hitler and Holocaust. But when you have, for example, Hitler and Holocaust, you don't say, oh, let's try to be friendly with that Nazi guy there, do it modestly. You have to, there are moments when you have to be aggressive. I hope we agree. Right. I hope we agree on this and about all that utopia stuff. For me, my position is a modest one. I see, as we all do, that we are approaching potential catastrophes. And all I'm saying is we should fully, consciously confront these catastrophes. No easy utopian bullshitting, communist or liberal or whatsoever.
Let me try to tie up these discussions.
He wants to be General Secretary Stalin, who at the end makes the resume. He still is a communist. He's the communist here.
That's what I was going to say. War is the natural condition of mankind. There's always been wars, right, from the beginning, okay? And many of them. Peace occurs only when there's a concert of powers or a single power that can intimidate would-be aggressors. Now, I ask you, who would you like that power to be other than the United States?
I don't know, but the United States is no longer even the candidate for me.
And the United States, well, that's why we're facing such catastrophe. But you're contributing it by encouraging leftists.
Isn't the way to keep the state accountable is to have a free market in states?
You mean different political options?
Different political options, and then people who don't like the conditions in one state can move to another state. They can move their businesses, they can move their assets, they can move their families.
The United States is not equipped to, as we showed in Iraq. We can't even occupy a country. We can barely conduct a 4-day war. That was a 6-week one, and America it's a country where people are so, there's so much opportunity. People are so busy having fun. They don't want to go to war. Americans don't want to go to war.
America has to be lied into war.
No, actually, it was Tony Blair that did that. The United States is crippled in part because its commander-in-chief is a leftist.
Here I respectfully disagree, and I'm serious. If the United States still have a certain attraction and so on to the world, I'm sorry to inform you, it is because of people like Obama who can succeed there.
4 days into Obama's administration, he authorized his first drone strike in Pakistan. Who do you think Obama really is?
So when he came into office, and actually when he was running, he knew that his weak flank was the military. So he picked Pakistan. He has killed more civilians, and the left lets him get away with it because the left is a religious force. It has nothing to do with principle. The left doesn't care about Asians being, killed by drones.
What does he want to do?
Out in the streets protesting what Obama is doing in Pakistan and Afghanistan, beyond, I don't have any respect for leftists anymore because I don't think they're principled.
You see, here is our difference. We are both critical towards Obama. You are critical towards him. You are critical towards Obama because you think he's a communist, leftist. I'm critical towards Obama because, quite on the contrary, I think that he is not a secret closet leftist. He is not. He pretends to be a leftist. He is not. That's the problem.
You don't know what you're talking about, Slavoj. I've listened to Tariq Ali. I mean, he hates what Obama's doing. But that just because they're a leftist to the left.
These are your old leftist friends. Okay. But Tariq Ali is not my friend. I don't buy this democratic left bull of, local grassroots democracy, blah, blah, blah. All I'm saying is that the problem which gave rise to communism is still here with us. I'm afraid what happens if we don't find the solution.
No, it isn't. The problems are going to be here forever.
Yeah, but there are problems and problems.
That's a realistic view.
Okay, let's hold, gentlemen.
That we can change them.
We have a lot of ground. We have a lot of ground. We have a lot of ground.
We are two fanatics, and he's a liberal trying to. We should maybe all totalitarians come together to get rid of this liberal here.
We have a lot of ground to cover, and I do want to cover it. Okay, so David. You were in the Black Panthers, and you stayed in the Black Panthers post.
No, I was never a member. I raised money for it.
You helped them. You were involved in their activities, and you supported them.
Yes.
You were like those bankers who helped Hitler. No, if I may use a metaphor.
I don't think so.
And you brought in a bookkeeper from the then Ramparts magazine, which you were editing, Betty Van Pater. And I just want to draw your attention to a letter that was sent to you. In my mind, you were the person responsible for Betty's death. Sending her in to audit the Panthers' books at this particular time was tantamount to dressing her in a Ku Klux Klan white sheet and sending her up to...
Julian, this isn't... I mean, that's just a slanderous letter by a bitter guy. Who actually was involved with the Panthers before I was and never said anything. The left will defend the cause and will sacrifice any individual. In this case, it was me.
David, do you think this tragedy? I mean, you were involved in a murder. I mean, a murder was around you. This is something of great personal importance to you, and it must have affected your outlook on the world. But do you think that this opened your eyes to the reality, or rather it colored your perception?
Well, I was very aware of that. So Betty was killed or her body was discovered in February 1975. I didn't do anything politically after that for the next 9 years. I voted for Reagan in 1984, and that's when I emerged as a conservative. Of course, I came under tremendous attack from the left, but I hadn't said anything. I was going to say I haven't said anything negative. I hadn't done any political activity attacking the left in all those 9 years because I was very aware that I was, I felt I had been betrayed by the movement. I felt guilty at what I had supported. So I waited till I was relatively cool. It's in your character if you're passionate or not. But
David, you started writing biographies after Betty von Peter's death into Rockefellers and other big American families.
Right.
I mean, when you started writing all those biographies, did you interview members of those well-connected families?
Yes.
You moved into a new social orbit as a result of your biography.
No. I really have remained pretty much the same all my life. I didn't move into any new orbits. I mean, I did. I had to. I lost every friend that I ever had as a leftist, and that was in midlife. So I reconstituted my friendships. I think that's a big factor that keeps people in the left, is that they know that if they cross a line, they're going to lose all their friends. Yeah. Honey, what? Yeah, just okay. All right, sorry about that.
No problem. I am for communism with human face, where you will be allowed to do this. Got you. No, seriously, just to
not
finish.
to put down activism or what you do at all. I have to go to universities with bodyguards because of the fascist left in this country.
I have assassination threats all over.
I'm the only guy in this room who was physically assaulted by right-wingers to be a communist and by communists to be a traitor to nationalists. So,
Come on.
yeah, no, I'm not kidding.
David, who will you be voting for in the upcoming election?
Well, we don't have a candidate yet.
Well, I mean, amongst the candidates.
Oh, I think Romney has the best chance to beat this guy.
To beat Obama.
Yeah, I'm not happy with anybody.
I agree here with you. It's very tragic and really maybe even bad in the long term for the vitality of the United States that Republican Party, it looks to me like this, simply wasn't able to produce a candidate which would have enough drawing force and so on. It's very sad.
I agree.
I'm not happy about this.
I agree. It's too bad.
Thank you, David Horowitz.
Sorry?
No visiting.
He's a secret.
No,
he's even worse than a communist. He's a socialist with a human face. This is the lowest form of existence. Socialism with a human face is the lowest form. It's like frogs crawling
They're probably
there.
a victim of these.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, my God, let's. But you know, you have to do a little bit of Stalinist work. This was madness. You know what I mean? My idea is they put you on a plane. The union should say we will not fly if you are, or something like this, you know. So I think it's time to raise the stakes.